Let's take a look at the driver swing of Micah Morris. We're going to break down a few different aspects of it, and I'm also going to bring up several things that Micah does that you at home can learn from in order to implement into your own swing and become a better driver of the golf ball. It's no secret that Micah is an excellent golfer and he hits the driver a mile. So let's break down a few aspects of this swing that I think anyone at home can learn from. Let's start off by talking about Micah's trigger. So if you look at the golf swing, before that club comes back, look right here. There's a slight, very subtle weight transfer, and this is referred to as a swing trigger. Now, a swing trigger can manifest itself in several different ways. Some people like to readjust their hands on the grip. Some people like to move their feet. Some people just like to shift their weight a little bit. Micah has a little bit of a lateral shift in weight. You can see his hips, they kind of move from the left to the right just slightly, and as soon as those hips are set in that rightmost position, then the golf swing begins. A trigger is a very great way to relieve a little bit of tension and really get your body and your mind even in the flow of the golf swing. Many of the greatest golfers in professional golf right now have some type of trigger. It could be very subtle, it could be pretty noticeable, but what it really allows you to do is that is the beginning of your motion. It doesn't start with any tension, it doesn't start with any intention about what's going on with the shot that you're trying to hit. It's just a way to loosen your body up, and then from there, you know, now it's time to go. So if this is something that you aren't really familiar with or you haven't tried it, go on the driving range and work on several different swing triggers. See what works best for you. As I mentioned earlier, someone like Xander Schauffele does several re-grips. He has his right palm kind of readdress the club several times, and once he's comfortable, then he begins the golf swing. Here you see Micah with a slight horizontal sway. He also has a right foot tap, as you can see right there, just a slight right foot tap. So play around with different things, see what works for you. There's no answer, no correct answer as to what the best trigger is. The best trigger is what is most comfortable and repeatable for your golf swing. Now, another aspect of Morris's motion that I think we should point out is this upper body rotation that he has. If you look at the golf swing that Morris has, the hands remain pretty low, and there isn't a ton of upper body or chest rotation in this motion. Obviously, Mike is very strong, very flexible, very athletic. He hits the ball a mile, but he doesn't have to hit the ball a mile by having some crazy exaggerated stretch in his upper body and by having those hands really high and a ton of swing width. So for people at home, if you want to get a couple extra yards on your driver, that's fine, but I don't always advise going about that from really trying to lengthen your motion. That can lead to some trouble. It can really affect your ball striking. It can affect the consistency of your strikes. People like Jon Rahm and Tony Finau turn to that shorter backswing because they can't really control something that's longer. Tony Finau has mentioned in interviews that when he shortened up his golf swing, not only was he much more accurate off the tee, able to hit some more fairways, but he was also able to hit the ball even further because he had such great central striking on his club. So the piece of advice here really is not to get super long, get those hands super high. Stay within yourself and maximize speed through strength and flexibility. Now let's talk about the final aspect of Micah's swing that I think is really the main powerhouse of this motion, and that is leveraging the ground. So let's really slow down this motion here, and let's look at that lower body movement. Look how he squats onto that right side, that right knee, and look at how this left leg straightens out through impact. Pushing up from the right into the left leg and exploding, really getting low and pushing upward. This is especially important with the driver. You can see in some of these swings how that left foot comes off of the ground and pushes away. Some people look at that as, maybe him losing balance or, a golfer swinging out of their shoes. That's not the case. That's just the result of excellent body rotation, those hips clearing so efficiently from utilizing and leveraging the ground that the left foot just comes off of the ground. This is another nice angle here where you can see that shift and the straightening of that left leg and that left leg coming off the ground. Do not be afraid to leverage the ground so much that is the result. It's a great motion to have. It's a great way to generate power and increase the stability in your own golf swing, which is super important with driver and hand off the tee. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this motion. There's a lot to learn from it. Mike is obviously a very talented golfer, pursuing some professional status, which I hope that he can realize sometime pretty soon. With a game like this, I think that it's certainly a possibility. If you like this type of content, swing analysis, and general golf instruction, please feel free to subscribe to the Scratch Golf Tips YouTube channel. We post twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays. As always, thank you all very much for watching. Play well, and take care.